Alright, moving on to number 3. Once again, I'm in a compound inequality situation, and we have an AND in the middle. Okay, anytime you have compound inequalities, you have two inequalities you need to solve for. So we're going to solve them separately. You have to solve them separately first. On the left side, inequality, here, you still need to get your variable all by itself. On the left side, I got x plus 2, and the right side, I got 3. To get x by itself, all I have to do is get rid of this plus 2 business. So let's get rid of plus 2 by subtracting 2, and my left side inequality is x is less than 1, and we're done with that side, because that's as complicated as it was. The right side, it's more complicated, because we got 3x plus 2 is less than 1. I'm still wanting to work outside in. I want to get rid of the subtract 2 first, and then I'll get rid of the 3 in front of the x. To get rid of minus 2, I'm going to add 2 to both sides. Left side still got 3x. Right side now has 3. And now I need to divide by 3 to get rid of the 3 in front of the x. 3 divided by 3 is 1. I do not switch my inequality because I didn't divide by a negative. I divide by a positive 3, so it doesn't change, giving me x is less than 1. So now, if you notice, both of these answers are exactly the same. That's okay. We just have to graph it and see what we get. So let's put 0 down, 1, 2, 3, negative 1, negative 2. Okay, so let's graph it. When you're graphing, look at the number in your inequality, and you're going to put a circle there. Okay? It is going to be open because there's no line under the inequality symbol. There's no line, so no fill. And this says x is less than 1. So I'm going to shade the numbers less than 1. Shade, shade, shade. Put an arrow there on the end. And that keeps going. So my right solution is exactly the same. So if I were to graph it, you'd put another circle there, and then you shade it again. Okay? Really only have to put it down once, but notice that it's there twice. Because when we have an AND compound inequality, your solution is anywhere it got shaded twice. So we shaded everything left of 1 once with our left solution, and we shade everything left again with our right solution. So everything smaller than 1 got shaded twice. So if we were to write our solution in interval notation, we would go from negative infinity, because the shading keeps going, all the way up to 1. And then we'd have a circular parenthesis there, because it's an open circle. And it just goes from negative infinity up to 1, and that's it. Next item. So this is not a compound inequality, but it's one of those nasty fraction things that we still need to continue to remember about. With this guy, notice that there are two things on the left side that are being multiplied together. You have the stuff in the parentheses and the stuff in front of the parentheses, the 1/2. Okay, these two things are being times together. 1/2 times the stuff in the parentheses is going to be greater than or equal to 3. We can get rid of the 1/2 fairly quickly just by timesing by 2, because this says, the fraction says 1 divided by 2. After you do that, you're supposed to times that by the stuff in the parentheses. Well, why don't we just get rid of the 1/2 before we do any of this multiplication stuff? The way to get rid of the 1/2 is to multiply by what's on the bottom. So we're going to multiply both sides of our equation by 2. Multiply by 2. When you multiply 1/2 times 2, well, if you got 2 halves, you're going to get 1. So on the left side, you're going to get 1, and then the stuff in the parentheses. Okay, and then we got greater than or equal to from up there. And 3 times 2 gets you 6. Okay, so now we don't have that fraction to deal with. And really, 1 times all that parentheses stuff is just the stuff in the parentheses. Okay, so if we distribute 1, it gets rid of the parentheses. So now we're at this situation, we need to get x by itself. The plus 3 is in the way, and we're working outside in. The 3 is farther away from the x than the 2 is. So I'm going to subtract 3, whoops. I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. On the left, we get 2x greater than or equal to 3. Right side, because 6 minus 3 is 3. Now we're at this point, we need to divide by 2 to get x all by its lonesome. Get rid of that 2 in front. I'm going to keep my inequality the same direction because I divided by a positive, so it stays the same. Now we have x is greater than or equal to 3 over 2. That's 1.5, by the way. We'll see if I can fit my graph on this picture. I'm going to put 0 there, put 1 there, we'll put 2 there, we'll put 3 there. If I can reach 3, that's going to be 3. So when you're graphing, remember that you just need to put a circle where the number is. Our number is 3/2 or 1.5. So you put a circle there. I'm going to fill it in because there's that little line underneath, so I'm going to fill it in. Okay, and now read it out. It says x is greater than or equal to 3/2. So I need to shade the direction of the numbers that are bigger than 3/2 or 1.5. That's to the right. So I'm shading to the right. Put an arrow though. Blam, done.